starting a new color, new stitch, but we are going to be working with what we just did, how we worked into front post, back post situation. So this is the new color I'm choosing. I'm going to go ahead and tie it on here. So this method, I'm going to choose to use a different one. So I'm going to back out just a little bit here. We're going to work these together. So this is again the magic knot method. I just back out just a little bit with the old color, and then the new color I'm going to tie it on to it by lining up the ends like this, about a ½ inch or so between your thumb and your index finger. We wrap over the thumb, and then you're going to wrap between your finger and these pieces right here. So behind these pieces in front of this finger. So you're pinching that yarn right here. Okay, and then you'll wrap again right in front. Do the same thing. You'll pinch it right here. Make sure this is wrapped in front of this. Then you'll wrap one more time, and this time you're going to wrap in front of these pieces right here. And then you're going to take those pieces, lift up your thumb, push the pieces forward over the yarn you just wrapped, like this, and then pinch them together in your finger, and then you can start to pull this new color of yarn, and it's going to pull these loops off of your thumb and down right here and form a knot. And there you have it. It's called the magic knot. So our pieces are pretty tight. I'm pulling and yanking on this thing, and there's a little knot right there. So we can go ahead and finish off our work here. Now this is just another method to start a new color. You could totally do a whole different way, how we've been doing it, where you weave in your pieces like this. You can see the end is actually popping out, so I just have to snip this off. But I might tie it a little knot right here so that it doesn't come undone, and then I'll snip it off. Anyways, so that's going to be loop over. And how the end works, I think we already walked through this in the last video. Instead of going like into the post, how we were, or like behind the post, we're actually going to just, because it's the very end, just find 2 loops at the top right here. And that's kind of where we're going to end off this row. So we will have a little bit of this new color down in here. For me, it's fine. If you don't want that, definitely cut off a little bit more white. That way when you do the stitch, you won't have the knot here. The knot will be up here somewhere. But it takes practice to get that situated just perfectly. So go ahead and stitch 2 stitches, and then we're going to turn the work around. Alright, so now we are on this side of the blanket, and we're basically going to be creating the posts just how we did. So we start off by doing just a simple double crochet. So you'll go ahead and do one here, find the first loop. I'm going to skip this one because this already has a connection right here to this loop. So we're actually going to go into this one here. And we're going through both front and back loop. So if you forgot how to do it, it's loop over, find your next stitch, which is right here. Stop it, guys. Right here. Front and back loop. Okay, you see that? Front and back loop. And then we loop our yarn around the hook and pull through those loops. We have 3 loops on our hook. Loop around the hook, pull through 2. You got 2 left, loop around the hook, pull through the last 2. And that creates our double stacked stitches or double crochet stitch. Okay, now you can see here why I didn't go into this loop is because it has a connection with this loop on the end. Do you see how it kind of curves in a little bit right there? So that's going to be fine for when we go to the next row. It'll stretch it back out this way a little bit. So go ahead and continue with just this row. We're going to do the double crochet stitch. I'm approaching the end. I'm going to go ahead and show you the end part. So again, I'm looping over, and I'm actually going to be going through right here. Loop around, pull through, loop around, pull through 2, loop around, pull through 2. And that finishes off the first row for this color. Go ahead and do 2 stitches, 1, 2, and turn the work around. Alrighty, now we're on the back side of this blanket. It's literally so simple. We're basically going to be doing what we did down here, except we're going to be alternating the front post, back post, creating a basket weave stitch, basically a basket weave pattern. Depending on how large you want your basket weave would depend on how many you would do in a row. So I'm actually going to do 3. You could do 4, you could do like 9 to make a really chunky looking basket weave, or maybe you want like a smaller one. So I'm going to do 3 just so it's pretty noticeable when we get going. It's also going to be on the littler side, okay? So we'll loop around our hook. We got 2 loops, and we're actually going to be working into that post again, how we did down here. So this first post we don't mess with because that's the end. That's the edge of the blanket. So go ahead and put your hook down into the post and then come up and around like this. Just like we did down here again. You'll loop around the hook and pull through that post and pull your work up here. So this loop will be a little bit looser than these 2. Loop around, pull through 2, loop around and pull through 2. Loop around, go in and up under that post, loop around, pull through and up, loop around, pull through 2, loop around, pull through 2, loop around through the next post, loop around, pull through, loop around, pull through 2, loop around, pull through 2. All right, guys. So that's our first set, 1, 2, 3. Well, there's actually 4 technically because of the edge here. All right, so we'll loop around. This time, instead of going through this way through the loop, we're going to do what is called the back post double crochet stitch. So you'll come in through the back way, up through the hole, and push this back, the loop, and go through the other hole next to it. So that pushes your loop on the back side of your hook. Loop around, pull through and up, loop around, pull through 2, loop around and pull through 2. And do that again. So through the back side. Okay. I hope we are following. I hope this is pretty easy, you guys. It's the same stitches we learned 2 weeks ago when we did this, except we're going front for 3, back for 3, and we just keep alternating that. So I just did 3 in the back. Now it's time to go in the front. So loop around, and it's easy to see where the next one is because if you pull it out, this stitch here has a stitch right above it. So we know this is the next one. I like doing the front post and back post double crochet stitches. I think that these are really fun and your work goes a lot faster and you create a really unique pattern by utilizing those posts that we create with stitches. Okay, I just did 3. Now we're doing the back side. And that's 3 on the back side. And this color, I got it from Dollar Tree, so the yarn is not very good. I'm just saying. There was my 3 back, now 3 in the front. So as long as you're counting, like, that's 1, this is 2, and this is 3. I started with 3 just because it's going to be easier to start with a littler number to practice this. Because if you do about 9 or 10, 9, 12 stitches across to create a larger basket weave blanket, you really want to make sure you count, and you want to make sure when you start your foundation row that you have the exact amount of stitches you want to do when you do those, because I believe you want to add a stitch on each end, like you want to count that into your work, or if you don't, like I didn't count it in this one, so there's actually 4 right here. So it's 4 and then 3, 3, 3, 3. But really, to me, it's not that big, that deep. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of this off camera. I will hop back on and show you guys the next row. I'm actually gonna give you guys a couple weeks to complete this pattern that we're doing, just because I want you guys to really make sure you're catching up on all these videos that I've been doing with the crochet patterns and stitches and whatever. Because I know this is a lot and some people aren't that fast, especially if they're just starting out. So I'm going to give 2 weeks to complete this, and then you can also catch up as well on any stitching that you need to get done on this. And this is just a fun project to also use up your yarn stash. And then when you're done with it, and if maybe you don't want to keep it, maybe you do, I would keep it for your own reference on stitches, so you can actually see them in front of you, which stitch you want to do for what project. After you nail everything and you just kind of memorize exactly what to do, then you could go ahead and even donate the blanket to someone in need of it. You know what I mean? Or like gift it to somebody that you know would really appreciate all this time you put into this blanket. I just approached the end of the row and I went ahead and did one extra. Well, I guess there's 2 actually, but I had the 3 here, and then I started front post right here, and then I went ahead and just did a stitch, a double crochet stitch right into the front and back loop on the top end here, just to finish off the row. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do 1 stitch, 2 stitch, and we're gonna flip our work. This is the fun part. So basically we've already started. You can see how our pattern is looking. We've got 3 going this way, 3 this way, and so on. So we'll go ahead and loop over. And again, we always skip this first one because right here is the edge. So we've skipped that one right here where my thumb is. So there's the second post, what we're going to work in. Right there. Now, okay, so because I have this extra 1 on the end, I'm just gonna do a random one, which will be just a post stitch, whatever. It doesn't matter which one on that one, just because it doesn't really go with our pattern for the rest of the work. We're gonna go ahead and do, because the back side is going this way and this one's going this way, we're gonna start off with back post. So you'll go in and around and push that out, loop around, pull through, do your 2. So we're gonna do 3 of those. Okay, and then for this one, we would just do the front. Okay. So again, you're just alternating the pattern. You do 3 front and then 3 back. Just keep alternating that pattern and you pretty much got it down. As you can see, you start to see that pattern that where it goes over, under, over, like, and then above that goes over, under, over. So that's the pattern it will basically look like. I'm going to do another row. So that's why I'm going to give you 2 weeks so you can really see the pattern form. So go ahead and just do 3. Technically it'd be 4 rows because this is our first row was just the double crochet stitch. Then we did another row in here where we were alternating, and then now I'm on the second row or third row, 1, 2, 3. Technically it's 3, and then I'm going to do 1 more, so we're doing 4 altogether. But the first row is just that plain double crochet where there's no alternating. The second row is when we start that alternation of 3 front posts double crochet and then 3 back posts double crochet and alternate that pattern. Then when you flip it, you basically want to start with the opposite of what you did the last time when you go back the other way. And I had, again on the edge, I just had to add a random one to start with just because I don't have the exact number of chains that I'm supposed to have. Because obviously of the type of blanket we're doing, I didn't count out on my base when I started this. If that makes sense, I hope I'm making a lot of sense. stop talking. All right, I wanted to show you, I just finished up the quote-unquote 4th row. So I have the 1st row here, 2nd, 3rd, and then the 4th. And this creates a really cool basket weave stitch. The back looks pretty much the same as the front. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out and tie it off, and then we'll start a new thing in 2 weeks. I'll give you guys 2 weeks time to finish this stitch. And you can add, if you guys get done early, you guys can just keep on going with the same stitch if you want to. It's totally your call. Okay, I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.